So, hi Cynthia, thank you so much for accepting this.
Yes, hi Ruben. It's nice to actually meet you.
Yeah, it's we see each other over photos for years, and we never actually got to speak. So it's really nice
Yeah.
to finally have the time to meet you, to actually meet you.
Yes, I'm enjoying it.
So it's a staple of the show. So we usually start by asking why people chose the name that they have. You chose yours, and then Skywalker.
Yeah,
I bet you are a fan of Star Wars.
I am, but I changed it to that back when the last one was being released and everybody was like, the whole thing with Rey being a Skywalker. People were kind of making fun of it. Even though I enjoy all the films, even the ones that people don't generally like, for what they are. Like I joined in on that and I've never changed it back. I look at it sometimes, I'm like, I really would like to, but I don't know what to change it to. I can,
I
get creative when I'm taking a photo, but like for my name and what I'm known by, I don't know. It's so sad.
I relate to that. I'm like when we taking photos, creative. When the photos are taken, the creativity goes away.
Like done.
But I still when I think of you, I still think of Thanos. You used to go
Ah,
by that name
yes.
because of Thanos, right? It's not,
Yes.
yeah. So you are a huge nerd, right?
I'm what? I'm sorry.
A nerd.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
I
nice to meet
am.
you. Me
I
too.
would say. I figured like we have to be, right?
Yeah, to know what we do, we have to be. So the first time that I actually came across your profile, I remember this very clearly. It
Really?
was a picture of Rota, the Valkyrie in God of War, and this was all the way back into 2019, I think. What made you like start virtual photography? How did you come across virtual photography?
Well, that's a story. I haven't always been a gamer. Like throughout my life, like as a kid, we had Nintendos and Super Nintendos, and I played them. But as I became an adult, life happened and I didn't really play for a long time. The last console I had was a PS3, and back when like the first Red Dead and Skyrim were out. So that's the last time I played. Then I finally got a PS4 and I started with Horizon and I fell in love with it, of course. And so what I did was I'm really big, like I love using Facebook a lot. And I always search groups in there and things that I'm interested in. So I searched it and I joined like the biggest Horizon Zero Dawn group. And I started seeing several people in there that are, members of our community today that I'm like, how are they doing this? Like I didn't even know it was a thing. I had no idea that photo mode was even an option. Um, and so I started to get really inspired by their work. And I'm like, I want to do this too. And so my sister had to come over and I'm like, look at these pictures. Look how good these are. These are amazing. She's like, oh, yeah, that's photo mode because always been a gamer. And I'm like, what is this? So she showed me how to actually access it. And after that, like I started out with, like the really basic Aloy shots, but I was really inspired by several people in that group. So I learned how to do verticals. I didn't realize at first how you could even flip it. So that's
It's
my
yeah,
story.
That's a usual comment when people started. We don't know how to take verticals. But funny that you mentioned Facebook because I was going to talk about it because in your Twitter bio you have the link for the photo mode vault over Facebook.
Yes.
I
Mhm.
actually used to be part of the group, but
I know.
I since stopped because I stopped using Facebook altogether. So
Mhm.
in a bit of a moment of rage with Facebook, I left all the groups that I was part of. I dropped my like of all the pages. Like right
Mhm.
now, I have like only like friends and family, like
Yeah.
close friends and family. But I used to go over Facebook and look at that group.
Mhm.
Were you one of the founders of the group or?
Yeah. I was one of the founding members. Some drama happened in the big group and they shut down the photo competitions about 3 weeks after I discovered um, virtual photography. So I got lucky in that I placed in the last contest somehow. And one of the other people who placed like for second and third sent me an invite. He's like, "Hey, we started a new group, or we'll do competitions. Come join." That is really what I think kicked off virtual photography. I felt included because I was new to this, and so I was one of the first members. I became an admin like a little bit. It's been a while. I was in there. I don't remember how long ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. So now I'm an admin in one of it, and it's my favorite space. It's a very kind and supportive place. It's not huge, but everybody in there, half of them are on Twitter, so you know them. Everybody just supports everybody, and it's a really fun place.
It's really cool because now that I think about it, it's like having the virtual photography community in a single space.
Yeah,
And that's really awesome because we usually talk about Instagram and Twitter, and we forgot
right.
that that simple functionality on Facebook, it's able to connect so many people. And yeah, I might
But,
look into joining back in and posting there.
hey,
Yeah,
they
that,
would
that
love you.
yeah, it sounds amazing, like
Thank
to
you.
be able, it's like a Discord but more open. Yeah, I like that
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. We don't have
So
any drama. We're
and
good.
that's such a breath of fresh air, like no
It is.
drama. It's yeah, we
It
know
is.
our share of drama.
We have. It's, the bigger this gets, the more we're gonna get, and that's
Yeah,
just how it goes. But yeah, there's been some, that's for sure.
you are one of the only people that I know that actually as a partner that also does virtual photography.
Yeah,
How is that dynamic? Do you
uh,
talk about virtual photography a lot with each other?
we do. So that's an interesting situation as well. I met him through virtual photography in that big group. He was one of the ones that I looked up to. So he's been doing it longer. And we actually have distance between us, but it's going really well. And like he's been here several times to visit, and hopefully one day, close that
That's
distance. But
that's
yeah,
really
very
cool.
I know. I know.
You're probably the only couple that I know that started. I thought you knew before virtual photography, but
Oh,
that's so
mm,
heartwarming. Like I'm so happy that that
thank
happened.
you. Yeah, it's been a really good thing in my life. We all have our struggles, and when I started VP, I was in a really bad place. And actually, I credit VP a lot in the community. Nobody knew what I was going through, of course, but I credit them and their friendliness and outreach and just the acceptance I felt for being part of the reason why I was able to get myself out of that situation. And I'm much happier now. So he was a big part of it too.
That's super
So,
nice. I find that yeah, of course we have drama. Of course, the bigger it
yeah,
gets, the more drama it gets. But I relate to that a lot because before VP, I was in a time of my life that I didn't play any video games, and I was very stressed and because of work, nothing like personal. But I'm a person that gets overwhelmed by every time that I get into something, that something can't be like a hobby. It needs to like overwhelm my life. And at the time it was my job and I was really stressed. And when I found
yeah,
VP and the community, they they are so welcoming to new members that I
yeah,
felt that like screw the stress, let's just play video games again and have fun. And
yeah.
there are stories of other people that struggle in life and the virtual photography is always so welcoming.
It is.
So about virtual photography and more specifically something that you do that I don't see many people do is Bloodborne, a game that doesn't have a photo mode. It's my
Nope.
it's in my
Work
top
hard.
three favorite games of all time, and I never got the courage to actually try to do virtual photography. So, how is your process for Bloodborne?
Okay, so it's pretty intense, and I really need to post more of the stuff I have. What I do is of course, I turn off the HUD and I use the monocular to get in close on what I need to shoot. And because you're limited on where you can go and stand and what the camera can do, sometimes it's really difficult to get the right angle without other structures or trees or whatever in the way. And once I find that spot, I will use the sit down emote to get my character out of the frame. And then I start at the bottom of whatever I'm going to shoot and I take a series of overlapping shots. It could be 4, it could be 6 or 7. Sometimes I did 8 and it was a little crazy, too much. But I do that. And once I have that set, I use Lightroom CC on the laptop. You can do Photoshop or other programs too, but I use their panorama feature to stitch them together. And
Cool.
then there's a lot of correction. Sometimes it fails. Like I have one where the half of the building is floating next to it. So that one was kind of fun. I'd say in my case, so far about 90% of my images have come out really, really like stitched perfectly. So it's got a really good AI in there doing that, I guess. But after that, there's a lot of corrections I need to do on like the perspective of it. Things are still kind of wonky and distorted. So I use like the geometry feature a lot to fix the distortion, to fix like the horizontal axis or the vertical axis, crop it down to where it needs to be. And then I take more liberties editing bloodborne shots because there's no photo mode.
Yeah.
So there's no filters to use or whatever. Sometimes they keep it fairly true to the colors. Sometimes I just get inspired and I do something completely different. I don't know how people feel about that, but I feel like I can take more liberties in that area than
Uh,
a
yeah,
shot that I get out of photo
when
mode.
Sekiro came out, I did like that later part, apply some filters and move
Hmm.
the settings, not the stitching. That's a bit over my skill limit.
Oh, you can
Uh,
do it. Easy, I
uh,
promise.
Now that you were talking about it, and now that I have a PC, I didn't used to. I only have my work laptop, so I can't install anything in there. Now that I actually have a PC and heard you talk about it, I might try it at some point.
Good.
But yeah, I used to edit my Sekiros a lot, like putting filters and like I used to do this a lot, like put black and white in
Nice.
Sekiro, and it looks so good.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Looks stunning.
You recently started or restarted your Instagram, right?
Restarted. I'm trying to revive it.
Why
I'm
is that?
feeling, I don't know. I like Instagram for the fact that you can find somebody, as a VP, maybe you see on Twitter, like, hey, this is a really good shot. And you want to see more of their work. If they're on Instagram, you have that instant overview. I'm mostly on mobile. So
Yeah.
Twitter, I kind of see what's in my feed. Um, so I like that too. And I kind of wanted, to have my own little gallery, although I am working on a Flickr as well, just for me to put everything in one spot and enjoy it, or whoever else wants to see it
I'm a
first.
big fan of most of Flickr, so
Yeah,
I support that idea.
right.
So
Instagram, I don't know, I just randomly decided to try to restart it. I am already feeling the crop, and for me, I still prefer to put a whole image in there, so I have to do the whole
yeah,
expanding the canvas and cropping it down and all that. And it's a lot of extra steps. So I don't know that I'll get everything I do on there, but that's probably a good thing.
it's still it's so weird to me that Instagram, a image based social media, still is so limited
Yes.
when sharing photos in there. So
Yes.
hearing you talk, I get the sense that you maybe have some experience in photography before virtual photography, or did you? No, whoa,
Um,
you learned
I mean, I have a
everything.
camera phone.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's inspiring because I'm always afraid of like trying Lightroom, trying different
Yeah.
stuff because I feel that that's for pros. That's what people use. I use Lightroom mobile, and most of the time I
Oh,
have my own presets, apply them,
mhm.
and that's it.
I
And
love
nowadays
presets.
I don't even edit most of my shots.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't really needed to.
okay,
They look good.
let's talk about the what I expect most people will be expecting us to talk in this video, which is the Red Bull capture
Oh,
point.
I knew this was
Uh,
gonna come up. Okay.
so first of all, congratulations on winning
Thank you.
the best of the show. That's like super awesome.
Thank you.
Um, I actually have all of your entries. Uh,
All of
yeah,
mine?
all of them,
18 of them?
all 18 of them. It's really easy to find them.
Yeah.
So, of all of your entries are basically from three games, except for one. No, four games. Okay.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima. No, three games. Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima, and Demon Souls.
Yes.
So, and those are the games that I usually think of when thinking of you, Bloodborne and Demon Souls, more or less. Why no God of War? That's my first question. Because, well, God of War, I'm a fan.
I chose not to enter anything from God of War, because I haven't actually done a playthrough of that game in at least 2 years. Everything I have from it is really old, and I didn't feel like it really reflects what I'm doing now. Like the things I've learned, I feel like I'm so much past that, I guess I could say. I know that sounds kind of bad, but I did look through what I have, and just nothing stood out to me. I was looking for horizontals because those seem to be the ones I wanted. So I tend to take more verticals, so I'm limited in that respect as well. But it was a conscious decision not to include anything from there because I just didn't find anything that I felt was good
Makes
enough.
sense. Yeah. We usually are harder on our
Yeah.
previous work than
Yeah.
what we are with our newer work. So you, what's the I couldn't enter the contest because it was close to the
Mm.
US. But one of the things that surprised me with this one was the length. It was like a month or something like that. It
It
was
was
a
three
very
months.
long 3 months. Whoa,
Yep.
that was a lot of time. And the amount of pictures that people could enter,
Yeah.
18. How did
That was a
you
weird number.
go how did you go around and pick the 18 photos?
Okay, so I tend to like overanalyze stuff sometimes. And I
Don't
don't
we
pick
all?
based on my gut. I don't know. Some people are more like they have that instinct, they go from their gut. Like I know people who, as soon as it opened, they're like, here's my 18, these are the ones I want to enter. And they knew it. I'm not like that. I tend to enter stuff last minute because I agonize about it forever.
Yeah,
And since this is a 3 month time period, I forgot about it for a while. But what I like to do is I read every fine print first, like over a bunch of times, because I don't want to mess anything up. It's a little bit of anxiety in there. But I also look at who the judges are, what they've done, and I do.
and
And
the judges for this contest were some heavy hitters.
yeah,
I just went
yeah,
like did some research for this, and oh my
mhm,
god, the judges.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was nervous about that, but I really try, if the information's available, to kind of research them, see the things they share, to kind of get an idea of what they like. And I don't make that my only decision, but it does lead me in directions on which ones to choose and how to narrow it down. And I feel like it's a good way to operate,
it's a
although
very good strategy.
I tend
So
to overanalyze it, and Nick gets to listen and see thousands of pictures come through his messenger because I'm like, this one or this one, this one or this one, this one or this one. He's like, just pick one. So get a little crazy.
let's talk a bit about Demon Souls. It's the game that you enter the less. Is
Yep.
there a specific reason why
Mhm.
you have three photos of Demon Souls in here out of the 18?
Yes. Um, I didn't have access to a PS5
Okay.
until near the end of the competition. My sister ended up getting one, probably the last couple weeks before. So I didn't have a big gallery to pick from. I was trying to do a playthrough with some photo mode, but I didn't have a lot, especially horizontal versions of anything that I really liked. In fact, the ones I entered, I was kind of like about, but I was like, it's a game, not many people are playing it because of access issues. So I'll enter a few, but I didn't expect those to be strong.
But your shot for of the lady, it's a merchant with the scarred face. That shot
Mhm.
is so beautiful. Like,
Thank you.
yeah,
I worked on
I took one of that same character and I tried to do a portrait and I gave up and did like full body. And when I saw yours, I was like, oh, this is how you do it. This is how it's supposed to look like. Um,
Thank you.
so going back a bit with the Lightroom and the editing, do you usually edit your shots? For this contest, we know that it wasn't possible because the photos had to be uploaded. But do you usually edit your shots?
Usually I do. Um, I try to, I'd say 95% of my shots are true to the original, how I took it. And it's more image optimization than like actual editing, clearing up some of that haze that can happen.
Yeah.
I don't need it. Working a little bit with the shadows and highlights, saturation. I will sometimes tweak some colors, like if a red, because reds like on mine come out kind of weird sometimes, like a really bright, fake looking red. So I will tone those down a bit. But I try not to do too much to them because I do a lot of work in the photo mode to set it up how I want it. I already have a final vision in mind when I'm doing it now. Um, every once in a while I get a shot that I'm like, I want to do a little bit more. And so I'll change a lot in those, but those are few and far between. But pretty much everything I post has been edited in some form.
So how this was the setup for this next question. How is it different when posting regularly, like being able to edit to the vision that you had in mind when you first took the shot to something like the Red Bull Red Point capture point, where you couldn't edit your shots and you had to do it from the console? How is it different, like to choose which photos to post?
It hurt. um, it actually did. Actually, it wasn't too bad. Because I do a lot of analyzing and everything. What I did was before I submitted anything, I'm like, I'm leaning towards this picture. Maybe I had a few versions of it. I would send it basically to my phone through the PlayStation app and see how it looks smaller, how it would look like if it got a little bit compressed or things like that. Because we all know that that if you download images that way, it really compresses them down. So I would basically make my final decision by how it looked on my phone. Because if you can't see the details on that, then you might be able to see them a little better. But I felt like it needed to be clear on a smaller device. I guess I don't know. Probably doesn't make sense, but that's what I did.
It does make sense because when you think about it, most of the judges will probably be looking at the entries, either their phones, their tablets, like a smaller screen than your TV. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I know from experience, like I just changed my PlayStation from the living room into the office, and I'm playing on a smaller screen, and the image looks so much better in the big screen in the living room. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Something that I ask when I have a winner of a competition here is, did you know that when you took that shot, that was like your best entry? Like right away? No,
That was an older shot.
really?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Like the
Thank
colors,
you.
it's it's so
Yeah,
cool.
I have quite a few versions of it because I remember being in that pause for a long time because I loved how the light caught, in Horizon, you get those rays if everything's at a certain angle. So I was really playing with that. I tried different filters, different angles, and so that particular one, I have different shots, different colors. And that's one I really tested a lot though by sending to my phone, which ones are actually going to translate if you're looking at it smaller because there's no editing involved. And I ended up on that one and it was a great choice.
It
Great
really was.
decision.
how how long was it between they announced the winners of each category to the winner of the show, the best of the show? Was it that long?
Um, no, a few days, I think.
Hmm.
Maybe I have a really bad memory for time frames, so bear with me. Um, I remember they were announcing the best or the category winners, like I think it was like over the course of almost 2 days they did it, or a day and a half. It took a while. And then they had the virtual gallery experience, and that's where the winner was actually announced. There's a little short
Yeah.
video in the beginning. So I didn't know going into that who had won.
Did you
It was
got
kind of
spoiled? Like someone before you got the opportunity to join the gallery, like sent you a message or something like congratulate. No, okay, that's
no, I was lucky. I
okay.
I went in pretty early. Like I was able to get in an early time on the first day, so because I didn't want to be spoiled.
That's cool.
But yeah, going in after they announced the category winners, none of us knew who had placed like first, second, and third. So we all found out at the same time.
And I understand if you can't answer this next question. Did they reach out to you before they announced it?
Yes,
Like, okay, yeah. So before they
they
announced
did.
it, they reach out, and then when the whole thing was completed, then they announced. That's cool. That's cool on them.
They did because before they announced anything, and they only gave us like a couple days to do this. Like they reached out right before they started announcing, so it was kind of weird. But we had to fill out tax forms and paperwork. We had to send in copies of our driver's licenses and all this stuff. Like they wanted everything from us first to make sure that we were legit.
Okay.
Some of the accusations after the fact I had to laugh at, but
Yeah.
they vetted us really really well before that, and I heard that they sent the same messages and forms to quite a few people in case somebody didn't get the message, so they had backups,
Oh,
which I felt was kind of
yeah. Misleading. Yeah. That.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm
Yeah,
never gonna.
but still, that's I think they organize it very well
Yeah, they did.
towards like how big this got. It got really well organized, and it's Red Bull, so it's cool. The sad part is that we couldn't be part of it, like the
I
European and the
know.
rest of the world, but for legal reasons. So
Yeah,
it's better than like we just don't want you guys here.
I know. I was like, all my friends from around the world, I didn't think it was fair. I understand why it's like that. I really hope that they will do something similar. I don't know what they could do in other countries so that everybody gets a chance. I really hope, but I don't
It's
know.
it's harder because like if they do like Europe uh, capture point or something like that, each country actually has their specific laws about this stuff. So, for instance, in Portugal, no one cares. Like, win whatever you have.
Mhm.
But like, even when it's close to Europe, there are certain, like in the terms and conditions, like certain countries that they don't specify that they can. They always specify people from Portugal, Spain, France, Germany, and the rest. Well,
Oh man,
yeah, the
disappointing.
UK, most countries, but there are like three or four that they can't do anything, and that's
Wow.
why most. Today I had this talk over Amber Lab is giving away a Kina copy, and they
Mhm.
are closing to the US because of that, and we at least from my point of view I came to expect it. I don't expect this to change anytime soon. I like what Naughty Dog did for the photo mall competition. They didn't have a
Yeah.
prize, they just
Yeah.
shared. I like that. That's a way to go around it because prices are cool, but social media like focus is also a very good prize.
Oh
So
yes. Oh yes.
so that's nice. What are you, since you received the PS5, what are you
Yes.
playing? What are you shooting right now?
Right now, I am attempting to make it through Returnal. That's not going as well as I hoped, but I'm
I like
trying.
your photos. I like your shots. The one that Fire Scorpio turned into a poster,
Yes,
like it
that was
seemed
so
like it
fun.
was made for that poster. It
I wish.
go yeah. It was
Yeah, it worked out for
such a good combo. Other than Returnal, anything that we can expect you to post soon?
Um, I want to play Resident Evil Village. I have like so much in my backlog. I don't know where to go. I still haven't played Spider-Man or Miles Morales, so I'm kind of leaning maybe towards doing that. I have Ratchet and Clank, and I'm probably the odd one out here. I could not get into it.
I get it. I get it.
Possibly, yeah, it was well, all the light some games will trigger like I get really bad migraines. So I didn't get a specific migraine, but it was making my head like kind of hurt and feel funny. It's sad because I really wanted to get a hold of that photo
I
mode
It took
really
me a
badly.
few days to get used to one. It's super cartoony. It's a
Yeah,
contrast from what we usually get photo modes on, like
right.
Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, and then all the lights, like if you play in the dark, I usually
Mhm.
do. It's really
It's a
blinding,
lot.
and yeah, it hurts a lot. I get that. It took me a few days to actually get it, and I after those few days I restarted the game because I had to go
Oh,
through the intro because I wasn't paying attention to the
mhm.
intro. So yeah, I really do. And that this is was it, Synth.
Was
We
it?
are out of questions.
Okay.
Was was your nervous justified, or is was this as bad as you think it was?
No, it actually went really smooth and great, and I was mostly nervous in the very beginning, but I'm fine right now. Yeah, I think it went
I
well.
ask this question because it's a warning for people that don't want to be on the show because they are super nervous.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again for being here,
Thank you
Cynthia.
for having me.
I will leave your social media and the Facebook group in the description.
Okay. Thank you.
And thank you all for watching this. And
Yes,
please
thank you,
do all
everybody.
those YouTube things like,
Yes.
subscribe, comment, those things.
Please support him. He's got some really good interviews on there too. I watched a bunch of them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.